Welcome to the Business Behind the Scene podcast with Francesca Moi, where we talk all about real business problems, real solutions, and getting actual results in your business. Hello, welcome to this bonus episode. I was chatting with Elisa and I was interviewing her on how she tripled her revenue since she's done all my courses. So I thought to share it with you because you might want to get onto my courses. They're available online now and it's something new that we've just done. So if you're interested, just email at info@empoweringevents.com.au and we can send you the link to grab yourself the amazing courses. I look forward to have you in one of them. Talk soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Here we are. Welcome to the workshop, Secret for Coaches. I'm opening up all my devices so that I can find you guys in here and I can see your beautiful comments. Here you are. So everybody welcome the one and only Elisa James. Hi.
Hi, nice to see you all. Hi.
Hello. I don't know. I always ask you, how do you say your name? And to me, Elisa is like such an Italian name that I say it my way.
You say it correctly. You're one of the only people in Australia that say it correctly. It's like Elisa, Mona Lisa. All you have to do is sing and then you remember how it's spelled. But people say Alyssa, Alicia, Alicia. I get all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but Europeans always say it right.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad. I always I'm afraid of like, oh my gosh, I must say that wrong name. Okay, so welcome first and foremost, and thank you so much for, I know how busy you are, to make the time to share your beautiful experience and what you have achieved in the last few years in business and the woman that you become, through this amazing journey. So welcome and tell us all about you and the Elisa before working together and the Elisa now.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm so excited about is in doing this conferences, especially working with UFM, is that when I first started as a career entertainer, I started at a very young age. But when I started become professional at 14, 15, I was singing, dancing and acting for a living for more than 35 years. But what that means is that the only thing you're in charge of is your headshots, the way you look, how you turn up, how prepared you are to sing an audition or whatever it is. And then you have to let go because you have no idea what's going to happen or whether you're going to get the job or whether you're going to make any money. So you're literally waiting for the phone to ring all the time for the next audition and the next job. So that meant as a young performer, when I first started out, I had to go and do odd jobs. Like I'd spruik outside a store for money, or I'd be demonstrating potatoes. Apparently potatoes need demonstrating. It's like all weird and wonderful sort of show-like things that I had to do on the side to sort of supplement my income, which took me away from what I really loved, which was performing. But when I had a wonderful, successful career across Australia, America, and Europe for more than 25 years overseas. And when I came back to Australia, I fell into the rut of doing the same thing again. And then I realized, well, hang on, if I coach and I have more control, then I can do some singing and acting on the side and then coach on the side as well. But I looked at coaching because I had no business acumen back then. I look at coaching the same way as I looked at an acting or singing gig. I waited for people to book me as a coach and ask me to go to their performing arts school or their acting school or their conference or whatever it was. And I would be waiting for those phone calls. And then the other half of my business, which is either singing or public speaking or voice coaching, I put one ad in some online magazine or whatever, and then that worked for the first couple of months. And then the rest of the time, people would just come to me through referrals. That's all I knew. So I literally
referral-based business, right? If you're watching this and you have a referral-based business, you got to listen up, right? How we change a referral-based business into an actual business that you have control of where the clients come from. Really cool.
Exactly. So that's all I had. That's all I knew. Now, most even singing teachers who are trained, I've got a master's degree in voice. We don't get any training in business. We have no idea about systems, how to get clients, marketing, none of that. None of us get taught. We get all this information about voice and then thrown into a business situation where we're supposed to sink or swim. It's ridiculous that you don't.
But that's the world of coaching, right? All the coaches are like that. We get trained into become a coach. We get trained into the knowledge, and then we're like, Now what?
Then
do I
what?
get this business?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're an introvert like me, I know it sounds really weird and people don't believe me, but I was very, very shy as a child, and I've been an introvert all my life. So it's very hard sometimes for introverts to get out of their own way and then make those opportunities happen. So what I had to learn, and I'm so glad that I met you, 4 years ago now or so, I met you because I knew that if I was going to actually do anything serious before I die, because I'm getting old, I need to get some business acumen. I need to understand how to promote, how to sell, how to promote myself, how to do social media. I didn't know anything about anything. I literally didn't know anything except sitting behind a piano and then doing my coaching. I'm a brilliant coach, but then the rest of the stuff, I had no idea. So now, these days, let me just give you a little bit of a baseline here. When I was married for 25 years, I was doing my performing industry stuff, and he was too. But then we started another business on the side, which means I had 2 incomes, which made my life very comfortable. Now, suddenly, it didn't really matter if I was only earning $50,000 or $60,000, because the other side of the business and his income was supplementing that. So we had a really good lifestyle. Well, 4 years ago, my lifestyle changed, and suddenly I'm left with a $60,000 income, which is not enough to live on these days. It's nothing, especially if you're used to being overseas half of your life and taking cruises and staying in 5-star hotels and eating in 5-star restaurants. It's like, oh my God, I have to do something to change this. So in walks Francesca, and then blows me away with Airtable and Asana and then a VA, and there's like, social media, and I had to learn all these things. It was very overwhelming at first, but now I've got systems in place. I've got platforms I know how to use. I've got the most awesome VA that walks the face of the planet, because FM matched me with the perfect VA. I mean, I couldn't have even asked for a better match, really. I'm chaotic and creative because that's what I am. She's organized and pedantic, and she puts things in spreadsheets and organizes my calendar and organizes my files. It's like, oh my God, thank you. I could never have done that. She's awesome. I love it.
I love it. I love it. So tell everybody, what's the business that you have now? Because we come from singing and then there's this mystery business. So what is it?
Yeah, it's voice coaching for business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, you've gone, yeah. I can hear the dog. It's all good. He's trying to get his voice in as well. It's all good. That's what they do.
I know. I'm turning him off. I'm like muting myself and yelling at the dog so that nobody can hear.
It's all good. So most people might think, why on earth do I need a voice coach? But here's the thing. When you speak on any platform, your voice is telling on you every moment of every day. So the question is, what is it saying? Is it saying, I'm not comfortable? I'm a little bit insecure. I don't know what I'm saying, and so I'm making things up on the spot. I'll just keep rambling because I'm really uncomfortable. I'll speak as fast as I can and then get off the stage. So every single word that we speak will tell the audience something. It will give a perception of who you are. So when people are disempowered, it's because of their mindset and because of their habitual responses to something. So if they're a nervous Nelly, for example, they'll be breathing up here. They'll forget everything that they want to say the second they walk on stage. They'll have no idea.
Absolutely. It's powerful. What you do is absolutely powerful. So you deliver that in a course? You're doing that one-on-one? How do you do that?
Yeah, look, a myriad of different ways nowadays. Before, I used to have literally people coming in to my studio in Florida when I was there, and all over the world, but they would come in 1 hour out, in 1 hour out, in 1 hour out, 50 hours a week. FM, I was exhausted and would just collapse into a heap on the weekends. It was ridiculous. These days, I have 3 fully fledged online courses. People can do it with or without me. They can go through all of those programs by themselves in Kajabi. I love it. The second part of my business is one-to-many. So I have webinars now where I produce webinars on a regular basis and pull people in to a program that gives them those online courses for the syllabus and then helps them stay accountable to their actions by turning up to calls like this every single week over 12 weeks. I also have half-day and full-day workshops. And then for my very high-end clients, I will then give them one-on-one classes on top of all that other stuff. So it depends on what they need, but a lot of my business was built over the last 3 years with one-to-many classes. That's what really changed it for me. It made my income grow exponentially because suddenly I had more time to work on my processes and systems.
I love it. And so if someone is watching this and they are still working with clients one-on-one, because sometimes, I don't know you, but when I was moving from one-on-one to thinking about going to groups, my biggest fear was, am I going to be able to give enough value? Like, people want me by myself one-on-one. They don't want me in a group. They don't want to share things in a group. So I was terrified that I was not going to bring as much value. So if someone is watching and resonates with that story, what would you say? Did you have that problem? Did you have that fear?
Yeah, I suppose I did in the beginning. How can I really affect people's lives and help them get that transformation? But the thing that I've noticed is I actually see more transformation with groups than I do with one-on-one. As much as I love teaching one-on-one, when people are showing up in a group, they suddenly become responsible for other people in the group. They feel accountable to themselves and their goals because they've actually stated what their goal is and what they want to achieve publicly to 5 people, 10 people, 8 people, whatever it is. They've stated, I want to do this. This is where I'm going. But if they go through 12 weeks and drop the ball or disappear or don't turn up to classes, don't do their homework, they actually feel really bad about it. And they want to actually pick it up to help others do the same, to be a good inspiration for other people inside the group. So I find that group coaching is really, really useful for building that community and building the accountability.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So if someone has that fear and they go like, oh, maybe I should just do this one-on-one for a little bit longer, what would you suggest? How did you overcome that fear?
Well, look, one-on-one is a great opportunity to write notes and make sure that you know what you're doing. Once you know what you're doing and your systems are in place, then you just have to have a really good syllabus that works well in a group setting. So that will take you a little bit of tweaking, but you'll never know until you actually start. You've got to actually do the first group, get the feedback, make sure that you get the testimonials and the video testimonials and things like that. And then from those, I did surveys for the first couple of years. Those surveys helped enormously because then I could see what my clients wanted more of in the next course.
Yeah,
But I've
absolutely.
never ever had people going, oh, I didn't get value out of that. Never. Most people will beat themselves up because they didn't do enough. They didn't take enough action, but that's not for me. That's for them to actually take action. And the second thing is that they all go through as a group. So they feel very connected to other people who are in the same journey.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
And it's so important for us to bring people together. So there's like, you're not alone. You're the only person having this problem. When we're working with people one-on-one, they think that the problem is exclusive, that there's nobody else feeling that way, that there's something wrong with them. Instead, when we help them to go into a group, they're now going like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not the only one. Like, there's lots of more people that are stuck. Okay, this is interesting.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
People sometimes hide because they worry that what's going on with them is so embarrassing and humiliating and so unique that they don't want anyone to know that they're suffering from all these things. So they hide. They just hide behind posts, or they don't even do social media, or they say they hate social media, or they hate singing, or they hate public speaking. But it's not that. It's because there's something going on that's stopping them from getting there. The group class is a first best way to put your foot in the water and actually get through all of those issues with support from other people.
I love it. I agree 1,000,000%. So before you said something that I was like, let me just go back to this piece. You said once you had systems, then you were able to go into groups. So what type of systems we're talking about? So that people that are watching this and like, no, okay, but this is what I need to do next.
Yeah, look, the first one was how to organize social media. I was completely overwhelmed with what to post, when to post, so many platforms. It was like, I didn't know anything about social media. So I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even remember my logins half the time. So it was like, that's how unorganized I was, right? So now I have a password manager, of course, and I can share the certain passwords with my VA, which is awesome. So the very first thing that I had to systemize with Airtable, oh my God, what a beautiful system, is I put all of my social media posts in Airtable. Now I post, of course, I have all my headshots, all my me on stage presenting or teaching or whatever it is, all those assets. I also have those in Google Drive. So between the Google Drive and the Airtable, we can organize the entire week's content within a couple of hours, no problem whatsoever. Then I, as a business owner, just go in and go approve, 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 or edit here and then approve, and then it's done. And then my VA does the rest. With another system is, what do you want to do with your business?
Which is sorry. So something there about Airtable. So everybody that listens to this is like, what is Airtable? Airtable is like a spreadsheet on steroids. Pretty much you'll be able to have this online tool to be able to map out all your week. We give you that templates as being part of our agency or be part of our courses. So if you buy our courses or if you're part of the agency, we give you those templates so you and your virtual assistant can work together into mapping out the next 2 to 3 weeks. We don't recommend to be months and months in advance with content, because you always want to be able to tweak them as things change in the marketing world, as they change fast. But if you do 1, 2 to 3 weeks maximum in advance, then you and your VA can work together along that. So Airtable is something that we teach you how to use, how to structure it, with train the VA in it. And so that's what beautiful Elisa is talking about today. Okay, so that's one. What was the second resort?
And just before people freak out, because I did.
That's right.
Look at Airtable. It's nothing like a spreadsheet. It is 100 times more simple. I hate spreadsheets. I'm afraid of spreadsheets. It's not my forte. But Airtable, I love it.
But the first time that I used Airtable, I don't know you, I freaked out. I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. What do I do that? So how did you overcome? Because before you said that you used to be like sporadic and a little all over the place, and then you were not as systemized as you are now, and were you not very friendly with this technology stuff? Were you getting overwhelmed from it?
Yeah, absolutely. Terrible technology. Absolutely no idea.
So how did you go from there to where you are now? Like you such a savvy and all of this stuff.
Sort of, yeah, I'm not that savvy. I'm as much more savvy than I was. It was a commitment. It was a commitment to say, do I want to be a business owner, or do I want to dick around and waste my time for the next 10 years? I'm getting old. I want to make sure that I'm successful, so I actually have some retirement funds and I can have a nice life. That was my goal. And I hope that everyone's starting much younger than I am, because let's face it, you will waste a lot of time and you'll wake up one day and you're 50 and then you're going to go, oh my God, what have I done with my life? Don't delay 1 second. Take the bull by the horns and make a decision today. Am I going to be serious and make serious money and develop this business? Or am I just going to procrastinate and make excuses all the time? It was simply a decision.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Everybody here watching this, have you made a decision? Tell us in the chat. Have you decided that you're going to stop, what am I going to say, around? Are you going to mucking around with your business, just pretend you have a hobby, or you're going to just go, this is a commitment, I'm committed? Because it's true, right? Every one of these platforms, all of us, the first time we look at them, like, how am I going to learn it? But then you just use it every day, little by little, getting your help or support of a virtual assistant, right? Someone that knows a little bit more than you than these things. And together, you're going to get to the point that you're going to be able to sort it all out.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And another thing that really changed it is Asana and Canva. I don't know that most people are really knowledgeable about Canva these days, but when I started out in my career 30, 40 years ago, you had to hire a graphic artist and go to a printer and go through this whole rigmarole of organizing one little thing. And it would take weeks for you to get one thing printed and, and handed to you in a physical format. But these days you can open Canva and you can make a post within 10 minutes. There are so many beautiful templates in there and it's so easy to use. I'm not a Canva aficionado, but I can use the basics to be able to make my own thumbnails and make my own posts. And I've got my little logo on there and all this sort of stuff. So it makes you feel like a real business person when you're actually producing content that looks half decent.
I love that. 1,000,000%. And this is the thing, like it or not, we have to at least understand what this platform can do. You don't have to understand how to navigate them and like, for example, Canva. I mean, right, let's go. I'm not going to spend time in my Canva. I would never hire a CEO to come into my business and expect them to know how to do a graphic, how to do a Canva thing. I had to go inside of create all the things. I want them to delegate that to someone that is a support and assistant, and they're gonna work on bringing business in on things that are more complicated, that are problem solving, top of the funnel. So 1,000,000%, we need to get over ourselves and learn things even that we don't want to do.
Absolutely. And when I was learning, another platform that we were using was Meetup. I had to learn Meetup, and that was, a little bit overwhelming at first, but that's something that I figured out pretty quickly. And then Meetup with Eventbrite is something that I use for years and years and years. Eventbrite works really well for me. So when I'm running events, I made sure I knew what worked, what looked nice, how to format it. And it's not that hard. It really is not that hard. It's the most simplistic type of tech to use to make a really nice landing page. And so if you can do that, then you can probably do basic updates on other things like Canva, or like apart from Canva, website, WordPress websites, or Kajabi. I've done a lot of landing pages and checkouts on Kajabi. I mean, I'm not a designer. I have no skills in that area at all, but you learn these little bits and pieces so you can take control as a business owner. And then from that control, you get a really good understanding of what you want. And then you hand it over to somebody who does it better than you, and you can guide them along the way.
Oh my goodness. That is a recipe to success. Love it.
Delegation is the key. Don't waste your time. Before I met FM, I was literally going around in circles with my head in the sand, buying online course after online course, just trying to figure everything out. And I must have been working about 16 hours a day and getting nowhere. I didn't even increase my wage at all, I think, for years, because I was not focusing on the right things. I was just wasting my time trying to do everything by myself when it's not possible. I'm not an expert in everything.
Yeah. And so what happened once you started working with us? Did you change? Obviously, you started to get a virtual assistant.
Yeah, that changed a lot. That was really scary for me in the first place, because I thought, what on earth am I going to give them? Because I was working 16 hours a day. It's like, I do everything. Right? How do I delegate that task? But now that I've got, I had two for a while, it was really great. But the one that I've got, Ice, she's absolutely brilliant. She's taken over all the organizational stuff that I was bad at anyway. She's learned all of my systems, all of my platforms. So now I will create it on whatever I want to create it on. It can be on a Word or a document or whatever. And then she'll finish it, fix it, organize it, file it, label it, and make sure that she has everything in Airtable so we know where things are really quickly. So she can find things. Whereas I would spend an hour looking for something on my computer that I filed, 6 months ago that I've forgotten about.
Oh my gosh, if this is you are spending hours looking for files in your computer, say ditto. Like, right? Because this is the thing, like a lot of people tell me that I don't know what to pass over to assistant. Like, I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh
like,
my God,
everything.
So much. And just recently, she's even stepped up, and now she's writing my content. Now, this is such testament, because there's something that I would never really want to give up, because all my books and my online courses, I've got so much content out there, but I know the way I speak and I know the way I write, right? So if I ever gave it to somebody else, they would just write stuff that didn't make any sense, and the grammar was wrong and it doesn't sound like me. It's obvious. But I gave stuff to Ice to write. She's been with me now for 4 years. And I looked at that content. I thought, did she pinch that from my book? Did she get that from my online course? Where on earth did she get that information? That sounds exactly like me. And I asked her yesterday, and I said, did you just bring that from an online course? And she said, no, Elisa, I've been working with you for 4 years. I know how you speak. It's like,
I love it. It's so good. But this shows that to me, that shows me that you have trained her, you have spent time with her, you have like a lot of people like say that. I'm like, I was talking to a client the other day, and I said, so your VA obviously join you in all the classes that you do with your clients, in all the lives, everything you do. They're always there watching, right? They're like, oh no, they're not. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is training. Like right now, I've got one of my team members obviously here, apart that they're running the show, because I don't spend time opening the Zoom room, going live on Facebook. I don't do that stuff, right? The VA does that stuff. And then they're going to record this, and then they're going to be able to cut it out in 1 minute video. So while we're talking, they're writing down bits of like, oh, that was a big good piece, I can cut that out. Oh, this was another good piece, I can cut that out. So they're now watching while they're learning, so they can reuse that stuff, but also they can then repurpose the content that's already happening right here. It's just priceless.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely
Right?
brilliant.
I love it.
Yeah.
So one more thing I want to ask you. So you tripled the business since you have started working with us. How many years ago? Was it like 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly when I started coming in, but it was
2019.
Was it? Yeah, I literally just broken up with my husband. I was not in a very good place, and it was very hard for me to focus. And I had that injury accident. I was lying up the back of that first event, if you remember,
Yeah.
on the floor with heat packs and painkillers, barely able to lift my head off the floor. But I was there.
You were there?
It's friggin' there. I drove all the way to Brisbane in severe agony and I couldn't even sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't do anything. So I lay on the floor and I listened and I took as many notes as I could and I got up when I could. But you know what? That's, again, it's commitment. I made a commitment. I'm going to show up. I made a decision to move forward in my business. And even though that first year was very slow for me because of all the changes happening in my life, I learned, I watched everything. I started learning all the platforms. And I think within a year, I had my first VA. And then from that point in time, I knew I had to step up even more and become a manager and become a good business owner because I'd made that commitment to her. So now I'm responsible for somebody else's life and livelihood. I had to make better decisions. And it made me become a better version of me to hire that person.
Absolutely priceless. I love that. So you not only triple the business, financially, but you also like quadruple your followers. Like what's happened? Like even more. Like what happened to your following?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about followers either. I had no idea. So when you start to be consistent across all platforms and people know what you're good at, know what you're known for, then you become top of mind, which is great. So, I found that with the followers thing, with Facebook, I remember your very first challenge to us was to get 500 followers. Well, I have, 6,000 and I don't really do a lot of posting, but I already have 6,000 on one page, a couple of thousand on another page, I think 2,000 on Instagram as well, and 36,000 in YouTube. So because I'm active across all of those platforms, I now have more than 50,000 followers around the world. And I can't even say that I do it full time. I really do it a couple of hours a week. Seriously, it's only a couple of hours a week because the rest of the time I'm coaching, I'm doing more content, I'm shooting more videos, I'm working on my business and in my business rather than just being on social media all the time. I don't have time to waste. I'm not going to sit around just doing stuff all day on social media. I've got better things to do with my time. So I organize my content, I organize my posts, I schedule them out, and I know what I'm doing on every single day. It's as simple as that.
I absolutely love that. This is amazing. If you guys are impressed with the amazing results that Elisa has been getting because of her hard work, because of her commitment, because the decision that she made, just say impressive. I want to see how many of you are impressed because I'm definitely impressed from your commitment and from I remember that day that you were at the event lying on the floor and I was so worried about you. I'm like, oh my goodness, you can come back to the next one. Maybe you need to go and rest. I was so worried, but you did it. And this is the commitment that we go through.
Oh my goodness. If you want to level up your business, level up your mind, level up your sales, level up your mindset, then be there. Because this is serious conference, serious networking with serious people. Don't waste your time going to fluffy events, which give you a lot of fillers with no real information. This is proper training. This is not a fluff event. This is proper training from expert coaches who are making good money in business and making it, helping you do the same. So please be there.
Thank you, Elisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have enjoyed this podcast, then you're definitely going to love our Coaches 10K kit. I have created this specifically for you to show you how to get your first 10K. This is an incredible bundle that I created where you get unlimited access, like literally lifetime access to 2 of my main courses where I show you exactly how to get to your 10K a month You're gonna absolutely love this, but on top of this, there is also a sneak peek inside of my sold out business academy. 7 days where you get to really try out and watch all the things that you can and really get the gist of what we do inside of that sold out business academy. This is priceless. I am so excited to have you joining this. I mean, it's only $197 at the moment, so please make sure that you check the description and the show notes to see if this offer is still available. But you guys need to go and come and check it out. Check the description for the link and go and join our Coaches 10K Kit. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.